We are going to create a SnowFlake API within Dream Factory with no code. We will start by selecting our database type. Next, we will give our API a name. I will name mine SnowFlake and click Next. Here, we are asked to provide our credentials to connect to our SnowFlake instance. In this case, I will use a database user and password. Alternatively, you can use key pair auth. After providing the required fields as shown, I will move on to configuring my security profile for this API. Here, we can grant full access to our API, or we can get more granular. In this case, I will allow table access with read-only capabilities. I will apply that security configuration. And now I am in the API documentation with a standardized open API spec that allows me to interact with the schema, tables and views, as well as stored procedures. Here, I will call a table within that SnowFlake instance. We have additional parameters that allow us to mimic SQL queries, such as filtering data. We can get related data, which would be a SQL join, limit and offset for pagination, and many more. At the bottom here, I will provide that table name, hit execute, and get back my bond market data. If I want to invoke this API outside of Dream Factory, I must take this request URL and call it outside of the platform. This will give me an error saying there's no API key detected. By default, all Dream Factory APIs require at minimum an API key to be attached. Earlier in our security profile, we granted read-only access to our tables. So if I go back to Dream Factory and come to the top, we have our available API keys. I can copy that API key, and what I am able to do is pass that API key securely through the headers of my requests. So when I refresh, I am authenticated, able to access this dataset securely outside of the Dream Factory platform simply by adding in the API key to my headers. This is how you are able to generate an API atop of your SnowFlake instance in minutes.